Hello, I'm Ifam. Our group number is 14. In our project, I'm playing the server role. In this part, to demonstrate my implementation and codes, I'm running the server and client in the same machine. To run this client-server architecture, the server part must run first. For that, we will have to implement the codes like in server main part. Here we have the codes to invoke the connection with the client. For that, we are using this particular object for the web server, and other thing is this XML RPC service. We are creating this object called service to get the data from XML RPC service. Then we are connecting through the particular port also. Here we are using this handler with that particular object to connect the data together. So all together we are getting the details from the client side. This is how our connection is starting. After the connection, the second task as a server I had to do to visible the connected machine details and transaction details if engineer visit to the client side, so I had to track his details also. For that, I did these are the stuffs. Here I am connecting the IP addresses from client side. I am getting the IP address of the client by using these codes. In my text area, I should grab this IP address and the details of the client. For that, I am doing connected machines part, and by using this code I am printing that in my text area. Other thing is add transaction details. I had to print the transaction details in machine transaction history. For that, I am doing these codes, and also it will print the values from the server side by using this code. And my another task is to keep track the engineer visit to the client particularly. For that, I am implementing these codes for engineer clear, and also by using this one I am printing that in my interface, and these codes for the engineer reset also I am printing the details in my interface. Like that, the main task for the connected machine, engineer log, main transaction history is completed. It's happening like this. So I'm getting the value here. Then my next task is update the values of the client. The task is I had to filter the clients. If I have more than 15 clients, I had to update the particular client's personal values. For that, I had to use the filter. To introduce the filter, I am using UUID. This one to generate auto ID, I am using these codes. The same thing I am implementing in server side. Here, by using these codes, I am getting the UUID from client, and also I had to keep track of this one, and I had to store these values. For that, I am using this hash map. By using this hash map, I am storing the unique UUID and the item values. So by using these UUID and item values, I can update the individual value of the client side. For that, to get the values, and after that I will have to set the values for the individual value items. For that, I am using these methods. Then get and set method, I am getting and setting the value for can, crate, bottle, paper, for everything. And if I pass the value from server side, so here the values will be particularly getting from the interface I pass, like this. From these interfaces, these values will get by using this unique ID, so it will be set to the client side easily. And for the filter thing, here if I have more than 15 clients and more than one client, so I can easily filter these values. So for that, here this is the button click event for that update value. So here if I want to change the values, change value GUI, then by using this extend perform, it will go to here change value interface. Here this is the main way to change the values. In this particular interface, via these buttons we put for that combo box to select the particular UUID, selected UUID. By using that selected UUID, we can update this value. For that, here we are using, in this combo box we are getting the particular UUID, so it will show the previous items values. Then after that, after we type the new item values, here by using this method, it will set the new value for the items. Then after that, it will replace the new values by using the selected UUID and the new values. In this way, we can filter the values, so it will helpful to update the value uniquely in the client side. Then the next task is to identify the most used machine. To identify the most used machine, we'll have to keep track of the IP address of the machine and the number of transactions. For that, I am using this hash map to store the details. This hash map will store IP address and the details. Here, this one for the client summary. In a transaction, it will keep track of the IP address and the transaction details here, and from this part it will grab the IP address. And for the button click, this one for the summary calculation, then it will direct it to summary GUI. Inside the summary GUI, we are going to find the most used machine. For that, we are using this. We'll have to print the IP address and number of transactions like that, and this mechanism is using inside to find the maximum used machine. So as usual, we are getting the IP address, and by using that hash map, we are going to count the maximum transaction of the machine. So in this value, we can find the maximum used machine. Then eventually it will assign the value, assign the maximum to equal to that IP address. By using this IP address, we can easily identify the most used machine. It will print the maximum used machine transaction here. And also I had to provide authentication for the engineer. For that, I am using this method to validate his password. The password I am giving for him admin123. This implementation and all will be in client side. Altogether, as my task here, connection with the client is completed. Then keep tracking of machine details and engineer login. Then transaction details is completed here. When I want to update the values, I'm using this UUID to particularly update. So this one is completed. Then the summary of the machine. So here I didn't do any transaction. Here by this time, this is the only IP address I connected, so this is the most used machine among all other clients. This is how I covered in my server-side code demonstration. Then next, after this, for the client-side demonstration, my partner will explain her codes. Then thank you for the chance, and thank you all. And also, I forgot to explain about RMI here. In RMI server side also the same issue is happening like RPC. In RPC we are using XML to make transaction in between server and the client. Same like this in RMI we are using the remote object registry to make the transaction in between client and server. So in server side it's creating the stub For that the data will be collected there. Through that our transaction is happening. So from here also the same stuff is happening to initiate the transaction in between server and client. So we are using these codes to make data transaction, and this code will create the remote registry object. It will connect to the particular port number. By using this one, the connection will be elaborated. After that, to make the connection in between server and the client, those stuffs will be happen. Then after that we'll have to keep like the IP address so that these stuffs will work. And for the transaction, this is the area we covered already, and for the engineer visit, these two stuffs will be happening. All over the same stuffs will be happening in RMI also. Here we are using the common interface. This is the extra thing rather than RPC here. And the main difference is here we are using exceptions. In RPC we are using the vectors to connect in between server and client. Here we are using the exceptions. So this thing only transaction is happening. Other than that, everything is same in RMA and RPC. Hope I don't need to explain the same thing twice. Eventually almost same thing is happening in both. And further to update the value in RMA client side, here we are introducing UUID. Here we are using the UUID to store, and also we are storing the UUID by using hash map and item values. These stuffs to get the values from the interface I am typing. And here from the interface I am typing, it will get the values like this. And after that by using the particular UUID by combo box, then this is the value we are typing. New values, so it will replace the values like this. Then the next part is summary. Summary also what we covered like previously, it's happening. Then by using this one, it will pop the most used machines details. This is what I covered in XML, RPC and RMI both. Thank you for the chance you have given to me. Thank you all.